Okay, here we go. Welcome, guys. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Welcome to another episode of Influencers on the Run. And today we are with an influencer of uniqueness, with not with a lot of credentials that I would say under her name and under her belt, and more to go. KayLee Golding. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, KayLee Golding, that's my name.
Award-winning presenter and DJ, SRA four-time winner. Okay, and she's also interviewed a lot of the UK's finest, from Crepton Conan, to a lot more people as well. Okay, how are you doing today?
I'm really, really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's been a long day, been up since 4 a.m., but we're here to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I know everybody can't see me, but I'm currently sweating because I'm in a hot country. So I turn the AC off so we can get that good sound quality, so nobody thinks, okay, freaking out. So tell me about you before we go in a little bit deeper. Give everybody, just a little bit taste of who you are.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm a radio presenter and a DJ from here in the UK, originally from a smaller city than London called Birmingham. And that's why you'll often see that I go by the slogan, Girl From Brum. And that's just about celebrating who I am and where I come from. Now I do a lot of broadcasting out of London. Obviously, it's the UK's capital, so there's a lot going on here. So that's where I currently live. And yeah, just constantly putting out content and connecting with people. That's the main aim of everything that I do. So
Birmingham makes some noise. You know what I'm saying? I miss Birmingham. I used to be out there as well. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I miss Birmingham. All right. So the first question I want to ask you, okay, is what are some of the dark sides that people aren't aware of in your profession?
Well, if you see on my Instagram, I recently put out lots of information about diversity in radio. So a lot of my industry is radio. And when I say like the stats and statistics, so it's a whole movement called the Radio Silence Movement. And it looked into the statistics of how many ethnic minorities are on air and behind the scenes in the radio industry. The numbers were really, really shocking and very, very upsetting as well to know there's such a lack of diversity in radio. So I would say that the biggest, darkest thing is the lack of diversity, because there's so many other things that come with that, like representation and people just feeling like their work's a safe environment. So that's something that I would say is the darkest part.
And what would you say the second darkest part is for being a radio personality?
To be honest, I don't actually it's going to sound really annoying, but there's not really anything. I haven't come across anything dark or horrible. I think for me, I just really enjoy what I do. Like I live, breathe, sleep, breathe. I love, breathe, sleep it. Everything's what I do. So it's kind of, if I didn't enjoy it and I didn't generally love it, I wouldn't be able to put that much time and effort into it.
Got you. And what brought you into the radio space? I mean, I saw a picture of your Instagram. Everybody should go check out her Instagram right now, KayLee Golding. And I saw in there that it was like an old picture, almost like from the 80s, where you got a box, you got like two microphones and some old headphones, So tell us about your upbringing in the radio world.
So I started radio when I was 14 years old at a festival station called Base FM. Now, a festival station, they only have like a 30-day license. So I got to present one show and produce another show. And it was really, really cool. And that's where I realised that I really, really love radio and I really enjoyed it. And at that age, of course, I was still in school, but all I wanted to do was literally just study media and learn more about media. So since then, it's just been so much like volunteering. Why can't I speak today? Sorry, guys, I am a radio presenter. I apologize.
You can't speak and I'm sweaty, you know what I'm saying? It's okay.
It's just been a lot of volunteering and networking and just getting as much experience as I can. As I said, it's been such a long but amazing journey, and I'm so excited for whatever's to come as well. So,
So let's break it down before, because I know, because BBC One is that's the big leagues. Okay,
Yeah,
for those who are, you know, I'm saying, not from the United Kingdom, you know, BBC One is almost the main radio station in a sense, right? It's the main
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So like, I'll say before that, okay, and talk about like your startup days, like what, you know, what environment were you in, and from that environment, who did you know that helped you move along to each stage of radio, and what did each stage of radio teach you for the next level?
Okay, so as I mentioned, it started with Base FM. So from there, what I got from that was kind of like the love and the knowing at that point that that's what I wanted to do. And then from then, as I said, it was just like studying, doing media in school. And then I went on to college. And then in that point, I'd done a program called the Music Potential Program. And that was run by Capital Extra. And they're a big brand here in the UK as well. And then that was kind of networking and getting to know people in the industry. Networking is a massive, massive part of getting into the media industry because it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And it's also having a good reputation. So when I'm saying like networking, I don't mean go and like flirt with loads of people, make best friends with everyone, but actually speak and ask people questions, like learn from them. That's the most important thing. Pick people's brains, understand how they got there and what they done. So I done that, and then off the back of that, I got some work experience at Capital FM in Birmingham. And there's not many stations in Birmingham, so as I said, it's a smaller city compared to London. So to be able to be in a station at a young age, then I was only like 16, was massive for me because I got to learn how to research, how the social media works, how to run a desk. So I was a lot more advanced than other people my age at that point. And it's not always about age, but I think when you're younger, it's always best to know what you want to do, and not necessarily everyone does. So if you're able to try out different things, then it puts you in a better position. So I could have went and done that work experience and thought, oh my gosh, I absolutely hate radio. And at least I've ticked it off, and I've then gone to try something else. But luckily for me, I thought, no, I really enjoy it. So I just kept at it, and then I studied media at college level as well. So then there's always like a student station, and I ended up being station manager, which was really, really cool because I got to learn different aspects of radio rather than just presenting. I got to learn how the music programming works, how the scheduling works, all the behind the scenes bit. I generally think like the best presenters know how the behind the scenes stuff works as well, because then you don't have to be dependent on anyone. And during this pandemic, you've kind of seen who's able to put out their own content, who's still being able to make content from home on their own and get it out there. And so that's just been like a really valuable lesson to me because, as I said, I know how to record myself, I know how to edit, I know how to film videos, I know how to write interview questions, conduct the interview. I can do it all myself. So I definitely recommend for people to learn every single aspect. Then I went off to university, which is the point that I moved to London, got a scholarship here. Also, a big thing, do the education part if you can, because of it's just good, it's nice, it's a nice way to put your time into your education. So I've got a degree in radio now, and I managed to get a scholarship in it as well, so which was absolutely incredible. And again, it was doing student radio at the university that let me try different things and let me experiment and develop myself into a presenter, because I was always like production, that I didn't really allow myself to feel confident within myself as a presenter. So it was really student radio that I thought, oh, I could actually be a presenter, let me try this out, because let's be honest, student radio stations, no one's really listening but the students, so you can do whatever you want really. So I done that, and then I managed to pick up like 4 different awards with the Student Radio Association, and they basically judge the radio stations across the whole of the UK. So that for me was just so huge. And then off the back of that, that's how I managed to get the opportunity to present on Radio 1.
Got you. Now, you said a lot there, and I loved
Yeah.
everything you said, you know, because that's kind of where this show is about. Now, let us go with the behind the scenes of being in radio, and let's go into depth, okay?
Yeah.
You're talking to the world now, and we all, as I think, as consumers and people, you know, they may not understand the power of radio like directly, you know. So let's go behind the scenes, and let's start with the basics behind the scenes and move into an advance from your perspective, of course.
Okay, so what do you mean, what goes into conduct a radio show?
Yeah, like you said, like, there is a behind the scenes of the music programming, like talk to me as if I'm your student, you know what I'm saying? But make it, but make it wild, you know what I'm saying? Give us the stories, break it down for us.
Okay, so music programming, we'll start with that. A lot of people are under the impression that if you're on a daytime radio show that you select all the songs yourself. That's not the case. But here in the UK anyway, there'll be a music programmer that kind of, imagine like a ghostwriter, like they're a ghost DJ. They select all the music. They choose what's best for the listener, and a lot of research goes into that. So they'll might go out and say, what songs do you know, what songs are you listening to, and that's how a whole playlist is conducted. So if you're a musician, get involved with music programmers, because they're the ones that really select what's on the radio. They know what's going to be played. Obviously on the evening slots where you might have a big DJ, so for instance like DJ Charlie Sloth, he's a massive DJ in the UK. He'll select his own music because he is a DJ, so he'll have an evening slot. So that's what music programming is. And then you have the producer. They conduct everything that goes on in an actual radio show. So everything's planned out. So even in an interview, let's look at, we have someone in for a guest. We'll literally go through the process of researching everything, going through their Instagram, going through their past interviews online, going through news sources, going through, like, listening to all of their music, picking apart the lyrics. It's researching what can we ask about, what's a little bit different to what they've already come on. Because let's say if someone had an interview with Beyonce, a lot of things have already been asked, or Drake even, because Drake's everywhere. Majority of things have already been asked to Drake. So what are you going to do in your interview to make it that one little bit special? What extra bit of information do you want to get out of that interview? Because asking him the same things like, how did you get into music? What was your journey like? So many people's already asked Drake that. We all know his story. We know how he got there. So it's now, what else can we ask? So production is a big part of planning content. And then you might have someone on the social media team that will create a piece of content for you. So say you're doing a link in between songs and the video, like the cameras are rolling, then they might make a package out and put that online to try to get more exposure after the show. So there's so many like different roles within radio, but the radio presenter is kind of just at the front of it all, but so much goes on behind the scenes, and you're only really going to get all of them roles if you are on a big platform. If you go more down to like the student radio level or hospital radio or community radio, you might have one person doing that whole thing. So like when I'm on a community radio station, I produce the whole show on my own, I present the show on my own, you do it all yourself. But as you go to places that have bigger budgets, all these different roles then come into place.
Got you. That sounds fantastic. Let's go to the social media side, okay? But let's go social media, and how has your own social media accounts and social media helped your career?
I would say it's helped my career because it's a platform. I'm able to put content out there. So when I do an interview, it's no longer just, okay, it lives on the radio and that's it. I'll then have the footage and it will go onto my Instagram account. I've kind of learnt now, it's really interesting that Instagram's now like not a separate career, but there's a lot of things that I do just solely on Instagram that's not on radio. So there might be interviews that won't even go on air, it will just go on Instagram. So I might have artists come to me and say, can I have an Instagram live interview? Or even like working with fashion brands, like them sending me clothes. So like I'm a Shein ambassador, they send me clothes all the time to model and do all that kind of thing. So it's like, it's now become like two separate things, but they can also interlink when they need to. So like, as I said, like I might put an interview from radio on Instagram, but it's great to know that I have enough following to say, oh, actually I don't want this on the radio, it can just work just on Instagram. So it's nice to have that flexibility.
Got you. So since we're still on that side, okay, how many years have you been using, what is your favorite social media platforms, your top 3 that you like to use?
Okay, so first of all, I'd say Instagram. Absolutely love Instagram. Second, I would say Facebook, and that's more of a family account. Like I don't really have loads of randomers on there. The most random it will get is like someone that I met on holiday, and they might have added me on Facebook after. But like they're not complete strangers on there. Like I've met them at some point in my life somewhere. So I really love that family aspect of it, because I can go on And the Instagram, it's kind of not all make believe, but it's a lot of it's random people. So it's like, I care about your lives, but when I really want to go on and look at people that I really, really love and I care about, I can go onto my Facebook and connect and see my family, see what they're doing. So I like that aspect of it. And recently I've really been enjoying Twitter as well. I weren't really one for Twitter. I had an account, but I weren't active on there. But now Twitter's absolutely hilarious. Like, there's so many funny things on Twitter. So I've really been enjoying that lately. So they're my top 3 in that order.
Got you. So let's talk about, because you said on social media, companies have reached out to you, they send you products, you do these different things. Let's talk about that aspect of it, okay? And that side, he says a whole different entity. And so let's go more in depth in that and how it is a different entity, and how have you, developed in that area on Instagram?
So that's kind of just happened authentically. Like, you become an influencer without even realizing. Like, I wouldn't even class myself as an influencer, but then other people would, because of what I do is influence people by talking about the things that I do. So I would often go on and talk about being a plus size girl and talk about body positivity and being happy. And I'll generally just take pictures in clothes that I want to wear. Like, I'd take pictures when I'm going on a night out, or if I'm in, I think, oh, this is quite cute, I'm going to take a picture in it. And then it's slowly becoming, I would tag brands for the fact of people generally asking me, where did you get this from? Like, oh, I love that. Where did it, how's the sizing? They're the sort of questions that I always get asked, because I get asked quite a lot by also bigger girls as well. So they'll be like, oh, what's the sizing like? Like, is it actually good? Does it, because obviously when you have chubbier legs, your legs might rub and the jeans might break. So they'll be like, oh, what's the quality of the jean? Is it suitable for us? Will it stop chafing? So these are the sort of questions that I'll get asked. So I thought, do you know what, let me tag the brands so people can just skip that stage of having all these conversations and just see what I'm buying. And if they like it, they can buy it too. I'm not making any money from it, but I'm just going to do it anyway for the people that follow me. And then eventually I started to have brands like Shein hit me up and send me clothes. And what I love as well is it's not, although you can get a size 16 UK size, you can get that on the normal Shein, but I get sent Shein Plus, which is mainly for plus size women. So it starts at like size 14 up to like size 26 or something like that. And I really like that, because it kind of shows people, okay, this is a market, and clothes are especially designed for bigger ladies. So yeah, it's wicked. I really enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1, 2, 3, we are back here at the show. And ladies and gentlemen, while we're back, people, I want you guys to take a few minutes and please go to KayLee Golding, KayLeeGolding on Instagram, and check her out. Look at her amazing content. And every Wednesday at 9 p.m., her show is on. So check it out. The link and everything is in there. All right, back to you. Okay. So I have some questions about the recent, so I have some reports here, okay, and some social media studies and different things. But before we go into that, I want to ask you about, I'm going to say something. I want you to say whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
The Instagram algorithm.
Oh, stress. That's it.
That's it. She's like, just stress. That's it. Okay.
Do you know what it is? I think I've kind of got to a point with posting that I'm going to post what I want, despite how many people view it or like it. Because the algorithm is literally, from what I gather, so I haven't done a lot of research into it, but from what I gather is that if people see it already and start liking it, then you will come up more. But let's say if you have ghost followers or whatever, then not that many people will see it and it will just kind of go to waste. And I'm not going to lie, like my likes, I have like over 17K thousand, and some likes don't even hit 1,000. Do you know what I mean? So whereas before, it like, if you look at my older pictures, every single one would at least get minimum 1,000. Do you know what I mean? But it's kind of like the algorithm is what it is, and you can't get hooked on it. Like, otherwise you'll be doing things for likes, and you have to think, is likes really that deep? Unless Instagram is like your sole income and that's all you do, then I'd understand, because it's like, okay, it's actually messing up your money. But for me, like, it's annoying, it's stressful, but it don't keep me awake at night.
Got you, got you. Actually, I just remembered something. So let's take a quick step back, okay? So for people who don't know, how I found Miss Kayling, I've been doing a remote job as an influencer recruiter, and you were talking about big size, the big size, and how people were coming to you. That's how I found you as well, from that tag, big
Yeah,
size, and I reached out to you. So let's talk about this whole big size, because like I'm from the South, and so of course we love big women. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But the world didn't always love big women, and recently there has been, like, I don't want to say a bandwagon, not even a trend, but like a wave of more love for big women in the industry. And where do you think this comes from? And what are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree with you. I think that it's been rappers rapping about it. So like, I remember that line, Drake, I like my girls, BBW, and everyone was like, oh my god, yeah, we need a bigger girl, and even just more. It's like as representation gets portrayed more in the media, people naturally kind of love it more. So I think originally people would say, oh, let's put a bigger girl in your video, let's put a bigger girl on the TV, let's put a bigger girl in a magazine, because of representation and because they were so underrepresented. So because of that, obviously people are like, oh my god, yeah, it's a trend, we need to jump on it. But I think what I found is that sometimes this idea of a bigger girl, it's like, okay, but they'll still have no belly. Like, it'd be a fit girl that's got nice big thighs, a nice big bum, big boobs, but like no belly, no overhang there, like no food. I think the actual way is called a fupa, where you've got a bigger stomach. And that would be that, oh, okay, that's what a bigger girl is. When all of our bodies look completely different, like,
Mm.
even I'm a size 16, another girl that's a size 16, our bodies naked would look completely different, and that's fine. So sometimes it's a bit irritating. It's the same way, like, you might have a plus size model that's a size 12, like a size 12, that's not even plus size on you. If you think that's plus size, like, wow. Because I'm on the, I would say, mm, just over lower end of what actual plus size is. So it's meant to be like size 14 up. I'm a size 16. So it's kind of like I'm only one in off the lower size of it. But then you'll have someone that's really, really small, and they'll be like, yeah, that's a plus size. And I think, how do you think that makes me feel? Like, that don't make me feel good. Like, that's not fair. So it's kind of like, yeah, it is a trend, but I wish that people would portray it a little bit better. Do you know what I mean?
Got you. Of course, of course. I mean, like you said too. Like, I mean, I saw it mostly from your tags. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like when I was searching, that's how I came upon you. And I
Yeah.
think like now more than ever, we are seeing. I think also perhaps maybe at this. I think maybe social media has brought it out more, and maybe there's always been a just like a underground love for big women. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, like big women still have had issues of finding clothes before, you know what I'm saying, like you said, representation. And then now we have brands seeing, I think also brands see more money now, and so when brands see more money, they're like, oh, please come through, we need you quickly, quick photo shoot, we need to make some stuff like that for you. So I think it's that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so true, like what you mentioned. Even this is what irritates me though, like even as you said, like sizes and getting shopping. Me, when I go out, so there's a shop called, have you ever heard of Primark? You live here
Of
in the
course,
Midlands.
man,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Primark. I miss my Primark days.
So like Primark's probably one of the only shops that I can just go to and like out on the high street, and I'll find something that fits me. Like, but then you'll have brands that will have plus size clothes online, but if you go into the shops, they'll literally have like a size 14 max. Like, that's the furthest they go. So I literally, everything's online shopping for me. And what's more irritating as well is, like, when you are bigger, you have to try clothes on because if things fit you differently. If you're slimmer, obviously you'll have things that you will like and what you don't like, but things, you find it easier to find things that fit you and fit your figure because of it's easier. But when you're big, it's like you do need to try things on. So my life, half of my life is literally ordering things, trying it on, going, oh my god, that's not flattering at all, I need to send it back. And oh, it's such a headache. And then you'll have the same brands like on the TV advertising how they go up to this size, but if it's not in your shop and it's only online, what is the point? Like, that's not really fair on us.
Got you. And another question, okay, let's talk about it, because what is the right word to say? Should it say plus size? What do you think is the correct word in that representation? Because like for me as an influencer recruiter, I'm saying, as a side hustle,
Yeah.
and shouts out Primark, by the way. Shouts out Primark. Big ups Primark. You know what I'm saying? What is the correct terminology, do you think, for big women, and what should be, and in terms of representation as well?
Do you know what? Like, I think plus size is fine, but I understand that people might be offended, not offended, but people, there could be a better word. Because obviously, you're saying that I'm I'm extra because I'm bigger, but I just use the term plus size, or bigger. Like, not, yeah, I was like, oh, as a bigger lady, or I'm plus size. But anything else. But to be honest, though, like, I seen a very interesting quote the other day, and it was basically like that. Who was the person that decided to make the term fat an insult? Like,
Mm,
why is it an insult to be, in quotation marks, fat? Like, why is that an insult? It shouldn't be an insult that we are big. Do you know what I mean? So
gotcha.
it's also, I feel like we need to just deconstruct them words that are used for insults, because why should it be an insult? It
Gotcha.
shouldn't.
Gotcha. All right, all right. I like it. I like it. I like what I hear. All right, so let's go back to social media reports and studies. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a few things. I want to hear your thoughts about it. Okay,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite ones. What do you think about the fake it till you make it theory? So, for example, we see a lot of people on social media faking the lifestyle. Okay, or let's
Yeah.
say pretending to live a lifestyle they're not living. What are your thoughts on that?
I just don't see the point in it. I think Instagram will definitely be the best side of you. So, like, let's say if you go to a party, you're not going to snap all the rubbish bits of it. You're going to.
Hello. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to continue watching the full video, please either email us at InfluencersOnTheRun, or you can join our Patreon Proud to Pay program to allow us to continue making content like this. Or if not, you can go in the link below and there will be a link to listen to the full conversation via audio. Thank you very much. And I'd love to hear what you'd like to say about this in the comments section. And hey, influencers on the run.